ahead. So here's the deal. If you are going to cut on the car or off the car, you have to decide first, are you bottom loading or you top loading? Because if you are bottom loading, you can be 1/4 of an inch over this molding without any problem. But if you are top loading, you have to be on top of this molding so that you don't have much to put it in. That's the first decision you need to make, okay? Then the other decision you need to make is whether you're going to use the blade to cut here or if you're going to use the pen to cut here. Now, if you use the blade, you will have to cut one edge. Usually it's the smallest edge. You're going to have to lift it, move 1/4 of an inch, and then cut this edge. But this edge needs to be in the place where it has to be, either for bottom loader or for top loading. After you cut that, then you're gonna, this is anchored, the film is anchored in place. You're gonna lift the bottom without moving the film all over the place, because now you already have this edge cut, that edge cut. There is no forgiveness anymore. It has to be right. The top has to be exactly correct. So you're gonna lift, you're going to put the glass down, you're going to cut the top according to that which you decide first. You cannot move anymore because the decision was already pre-made, okay? In my case, I'm going to show you how to make it much easier than that, okay? I am going to wet the glass.
I cut on top of it because it was too wet.
To hold my, and you see I didn't blast, I didn't flood it, I just missed. Just enough to hold my film, okay? Now, I want to decide how much film I need. And in this case of this window, I need about 35 inches. So I am going to take 35 inches of my film. Please make sure the liner is facing you, okay? Whichever glass you're doing, make sure the line is facing you. I need 35 inches, so I'm going to go 35. Now I'm going to take this film. I already made a decision that I am going to bottom load. So I am going to leave about 1/4 of an inch, about 1/4 of an inch. It's good. 1/2 an inch it's tolerable. 1/4 of an inch ideal. First thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to anchor this film. You see, I'm covering there and I'm covering there. I can even come a little more. At this point, I can move the film back and forth, but now I'm going to anchor it. I do not want this film to move anymore, okay? And here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run my finger over here and I'm gonna mark. I'm gonna run my finger over there without creasing it and I'm gonna mark it. Now I'm gonna take this excess off just because I don't want this excess in my way. Out of the way. And now I am gonna raise the bottom and I'm ready to trim. I'm not going to trim now, I'm going to trim when I trim this one over here. And for this one over here, I need about 28 inches of film. What do I do first? Anchor the film. This film cannot move anymore. I am where I want it to be. And all I can do now is mark my edges. Now, because of this jog going in that direction, I want to cut this when I cut that so that I cover the whole thing. So I'm going to mark this bottom over here. I didn't cut. I'm going to take my excess off, like I always do, just to get rid of it. I can use this excess right over here to do this little glass. Just make sure when you do touch the glass with your blade, you have a fresh blade. But I don't have to use my blade to do that. I can do this. And now I don't need to put my blade on this glass. So I am going to lower the glass. And now I have both of them ready for me to trim. I'm gonna get my blade. I can go right to left to right, it doesn't matter. I can stab the edge. Again, you can start in one direction or the other direction. It's whatever it's more comfortable for you. Now I'm going to bring it back to the board. Therefore, I'm going to wet the board just to hold my film. Ideally, you should use, especially in the beginning, you should use a straight edge just to make sure you do a nice cut. But it's going to come a point where you won't need it anymore, okay? This is ready for installation. Okay, Mary?